Nice to meet you. There you go.
He's the one that runs the firm.
All right, we'll take care of you.
A little nervous.
No, you got nothing to nervous about.
Good.
Sing it now, guys.
So did you hear my horn?
Hmm? You guys can go, right?
You guys are running the delay?
We still got it going, but that's it. If we need it necessary,
kids,
that's
yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah?
Alright,
Oh,
here
you're
we
a band
go.
now?
Yeah,
Cool.
we got our own jingle.
Nice.
Welcome to the Why You Can't See Two Brothers radio show. I'm your host, Jim Lisiaga, and this is the Real Estate Edition on Saturday afternoon. I'm very excited. I want to say hello to my sidekick, Dave. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. We survived. We did survive. We have a wonderful guest today named Bill Mitchell. He's an account executive with Illinois Credit Services. Rebuild your credit, rebuild your future. That's their motto. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I think all of us out there in Radio Land could know somebody that needs some help with their credit. So that's why this show is existing, so we can give some solutions out there in the real estate market. Bill, how are you this morning?
Good, Jim. Good morning.
I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about a few things. We're going to be doing a public service announcement about a little half into the show. But in the meantime, let's talk about credit. Let's see how we can move America forward. How about that? Can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. With the Illinois Credit Services, and what we do is we help rebuild people's credit, repair it, and educate them for the future. So it's really what makes the world go round is your credit score. If you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, any of those things. Right now in the job market, when you're looking for a job, companies now are, most of them requiring you to sign a waiver saying, okay, we can run a credit check and a background check. And they're looking at your credit score. So we'll talk about why that's so important. And I can tell you anything you want to know about it, and we can help you build for the future.
In my opinion, it's a shame that, you may be having financial problems and your new employer wants to know how your credit history is. You can have a terrible credit history, but have a wonderful work history, be the greatest employee. Oh, you can't hire you because of your credit history.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair, does it? Especially now today where people lose their jobs or they're underemployed or unemployed. That doesn't mean you're a good worker or a bad worker. That just means you ran into some financial difficulties. And there's a lot of things that are inaccurate and unverifiable on your credit report. And we'll talk about that too. People don't realize how important these credit scores are. That you can't touch them. It's hard to verify these things. So.
Well, I'm sorry to talk over you, Dave, but these job opportunities out there, there's not many in the United States today, and it just seems to me, and that's just I'll throw my 2 cents in. It seems so unfair that to go for a job today, you also have to do you have to go through, they basically kind of decide on your FICO score.
Yep.
Hey, which reminds me, can you explain a little bit about FICO to the folks out there? That's an important issue. I mean, can you explain what FICO is regarding the credit?
Sure. FICO score is one of 3 models that they use to determine what your credit score is. Most people think if you pay your bills on time, you'll have a great credit score. Well, that's not necessarily the case. The credit score itself, it determines if the probability of a person going 60 to 90 days late over the next 2 years on a certain loan obligation. Well, okay, so how do you come up with that? And they have like 5 different ways that they do it, but your past delinquencies or paying on time, that's only 35% of what accumulates for your score. Yeah, I'll happily go into all 5 of them if you like.
Yeah, I would love you to do that because I think that's a big issue. I know I don't understand it totally, and I'm sure, Dave, do you understand it totally, FICO? And I'm sure radio people out there don't.
Not exactly as I probably could, no.
Okay. Well, there's 5 different components that make up your credit score. One is, of course, past delinquencies, and that's 35%. The other one is revolving debt ratio. That's 30%. That is how much credit you have available on a particular credit card. Let's take a Home Depot card, for example. If you have $500 limit and you use 400 of it, you have exercised 80% of your available credit right there. That in itself will lower your score.
Wow.
Now multiply that, say you have 2 to 3 credit cards like that you paid on time, that you've done everything right, say you can pay early, but you have a $400 balance on a $500 limit, your credit score is going down. Next one is an age of a credit file. That means, don't go out and, over the next 6 months, open up 7 new credit cards. Okay, because new credit, they're wondering, hey, why are you looking for that much credit that soon? Another key to it is if you have an old credit card that you're thinking, hey, maybe I don't want to use anymore, say you're going to get it in the mail and you rather than activate it, go ahead and then cut it up, because the credit scoring system model likes old credit.
When you say activate, do you mean, is there like an amount you should go for, or is there?
Well, they usually determine that.
Okay.
They do determine that, and then you can ask for higher advances if need be.
Okay.
But when I say activate, is like if you have you're thinking about not renewing this credit card because hey, I just want to eliminate some of my credit cards in my wallet and not spend as much money. Go ahead and activate it, and then cut the card up so you don't use it.
And how long does that take to establish credit if you do something like that with a card like that? If you,
Well, it establishes it immediately, but if you open too much too soon, it'll negatively affect you. If you're paying your bills on time and you have the right credit mix as well. What I mean by that is there's 3 different types of credit. There's installment loans, meaning like a car, Bally's Health Club, a mortgage, second mortgage, first mortgage, and then revolving credit cards. And those are the things that affect your credit scores. And the inquiries. People ask, hey, I don't want them to run my credit because it's going to affect my credit score. Or I don't want to run my own credit. Well, you can actually run your credit twice a day, every day for a year. It's not going to affect your score whatsoever. If you go apply for, get credit or money, say I want to borrow money for the house or I want to get credit, it will affect it for the next 12 months.
so if you're seeking to buy something or seeking to purchase anything, that would affect the credit, but inquiring about your credit will not affect your FICO score.
Correct.
And when you when how do we check our credit? Usually, what do we have to do?
There's many that, mycreditscore.com, there's many, you go on to Google it, and there's many agencies that will allow you to do it for free because the federal government mandates that once a year you can run your credit for free. Problem with that is they don't necessarily give you a credit score unless you pay for it. So they'll show you what credit you may have and where it's at, but they won't tell you your actual credit score.
Which, I know each credit agency has a credit score.
Correct.
And then you have the FICO score. Which one should you really be looking at more than anything? Should you look at all 4 of them, or?
Well, there's 3 major credit scoring companies. TransUnion, which most people have heard of, or that's probably the most popular one. Then you have Equifax and Experian. And when, let's say if you're looking for a mortgage, well, a mortgage company does, they'll run all 3 of those and then use the middle score as your average. So say you have a 700, a 650, and a 600, they're saying your score is 650.
Okay, this is the situation I ran into this week. I met somebody who was telling me that they had a 2 700 in the 700 range, and one 680, 670, and they couldn't figure this out. Why? Nothing. I mean, they all have the same information. 2 were in the 700s, and 1 was in the 680 range, 670.
Because they make up their own rules and they look the way they look at it. Each scoring model is different.
Okay.
So it's to determine if you're going to be late over the next 2 years, between 60 and 90 days late over the next 2 years. I'm not sure how they can even come up with that model.
Yeah, that was a stranger. We were getting a chuckle out of it, and then we cried.
Probably no
But-
different than Moody's and the Standards and Poor's.
They're
They probably
credit
have their own standards.
different type. Yeah, that one we're going to get into after the second half for sure, Dave. Listen, if anyone has a question, you could dial 1-708-493-1530. And you want to continue on your list there?
Sure. So, what components make up your credit score? Your past delinquencies, that's 35%. Revolving debt ratio, that's on your credit cards, that's 30%. The average age of the file, if you're just picking up getting new credit cards or old, that's 15%. Your credit mix, they want to see a nice car loan in there. They don't want to see 15 credit cards, and that's the only credit you have. So you like an installment loan for a car loan, a mortgage always helps. That's your credit mix, that's 10%, and again, the inquiries are 10%. So that makes up what makes up your credit score.
Oh, wow. It's amazing. That is just amazing. I want to give you a little situation. I'm personally in this week. Okay, I did have an IRS issue. I do have an IRS issue. Okay, they basically froze one of my business accounts.
Oh,
Yeah, ouch. And they're going back fishing all the way to 2007. Okay, the weird thing was Monday and Tuesday I called the 800 number and it was shut down. The offices were shut down for 2 days. On my credit, will that show up at all? Will an IRS, basically they put a lien on my, they
Yeah.
froze my bank account, my business bank account. Will that, and again, this was from, they're fishing usually 3 years. This is 2007, Dave. This is like, it really put a damper on my business thing, you know, but it's, I know the country's in a crisis and we might be able to talk about that.
well, freezing.
And by the way, caller will be right with you.
Freezing your assets, that one might not show on your credit report.
Okay.
But if you have a lien and
Mhm.
an unpaid tax lien, an
Right.
IRS lien, that could stay on your credit indefinitely.
Indefinitely until it's paid and.
Until it's paid.
And it will still
Now,
show up.
Now, once it's paid, it can stay on there up to 7 years.
Years, yes. So-
Why don't we go ahead and take the call on line one, Jeff?
Hey Jeff, how are ya?
Hey, kid, miss me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, listen, I got a question for you. How does your trading rate with, say somebody walks away from their house? You know, these other foreclosed, deals going on. I know a lot of people are walking away with their house instead of trying to try and hang it out. And I was listening to somebody talk about this the other night on Neil Cavolo show, and it sounds like it's more of a headache. Your credit really gets screwed up if you walk away instead of trying to work with, wherever the lender might be. Is that true, or does it take like an act of God to get your credit back, or what?
No, it takes Illinois Credit Services to get it back, but it's if you walk away from a home, then you're gonna have a foreclosure, and that will stay on your credit report up to 7 years. But before you have the foreclosure, that's 2 years before they're gonna foreclose on it. So now you're talking about screwing up your credit for the next 9 years until they foreclose on it.
Until they foreclose on it.
Yeah, that in itself plus the payments, I guess, I know a lot of people are just walking away, and what it sounds like to me, anybody who walks away, if they try to do, readjust it or try to go get another house, they have to go back and pay those back taxes. Supposedly, they try to find you and make you pay for the back taxes on the house you walked away from. So I guess it's getting really out of hand. This is coming from the government saying this. This is actually Timothy Gardner was talking about this one night.
Yeah. Well, just because you walk away from a home doesn't mean you don't owe the money.
Exactly.
Because they gave you the money in good faith, and you signed the agreement says that I will pay it back in good faith, and you reneged on that agreement, and they have the legal right to come after you.
By the way, Timothy Geithner is the Treasury Secretary, and I believe he didn't pay his taxes. He was issued three warnings or something like that.
Several of our elected officials also have problems with their taxes.
But can I say real quickly, that would be, Jeff, like that would be a question for a real estate attorney, but I could just say, for somebody that has to walk away, they might want to look into what they call an in rem judgment. I'm not going to get into particulars. I am not an attorney. I am a paralegal certified, but I am not an attorney. I just want to disclose that. But in rem judgment, there are possible ways for some of these homeowners to take care of themselves.
Thanks for the call,
Hey,
Jeff.
thanks, guys.
Thanks,
You guys had
Jeff.
a great week. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Bill, why don't you tell us again how we can get hold of you?
You can reach me at my email address. It's bmitchell@illinoiscreditservices.com, or my direct line is 708-408-9210.
And again, you're with the Illinois Credit Services, Inc. How old is that company? How long has that company been around?
Well, my partner and I, we've been in the credit industry for the past 15 years. Him and I were in the car business together, in the mortgage business together, and the credit services put together a couple years ago. So, but we've been looking at credit reports for the last, 18 to 20 years, and it was like, why can't we help these people buy a car? Why can't we help them get a home? Because they're good people, they have a job, and they had some hiccups in life. And we take care. We can help them give unverifiable, negative, inaccurate information off their bureau, and we do that through, you know, the government and federal laws that allow us to do that.
That's excellent. So people out there that have credit issues, people that are looking to buy a home or rent, or maybe have that beautiful job waiting for them, they should get their credit checked. shouldn't they?
Absolutely, they should check it themselves, and we can help them do that. And what we do is we analyze all 3 credit bureaus with them. And none of our services, or anything they would pay us for our services, we complete all of our services prior to them paying us.
And again, you could be reached at Bill Mitchell, the account executive with Illinois Credit Services, Inc. Can be reached at 1-708-408-9210. And that's a good number to be reached at, isn't it? Their
That's
website
my direct line, sure.
is www.illinoiscreditservices.com. And one thing I like about this company, Dave, is that you're in all 50 states.
Absolutely.
So it's not just an Illinois credit service. You guys have California credit service.
We from New
Arizona,
Jersey to the Panhandle, yeah.
Hawaii. That goes out to the 44th president who just got our debt rating down to a triple A from a double A plus from a triple A. So that's terrible. Huh?
I don't know if I can help the United States government on their credit rating, but we can certainly help a lot of people.
Well, maybe
who are-
President Obama could give you a call.
He's got my number.
Yeah. Did you give anyone else breaks if their birthday was recent? The president?
The president, I didn't know it was his birthday.
Yeah,
He
yeah, just
oh, that's
turned
right,
50
it's 50, he
years
just came
old.
into
Yeah.
Chicago. That is, I
That's
did
right.
hear that.
So,
If he needs my help, if he needs my help, he can
He
find
tied
me.
up traffic for 4 hours for his birthday.
so the traffic he tied up and the economy? Wow.
And he
Not
came in
bad.
for a fundraiser. He
Oh,
left town,
that
he
too. Oh,
left
okay.
town that day.
So he lost cash, but left. He
Yeah.
lost. He lost America cash, but he pocketed.
It was a
his
big
cash.
fundraiser.
You can't get his car towed anymore.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, it's a rough economy. There's be blamed on both sides of the aisle. We understand that. But what else can people do? What else do you say that people could do to fix their credit? And what should be they aware of? What
Well,
should
the
they be
biggest
aware
thing is, you know, can you do it yourself? You absolutely can. It's a matter of should you do it yourself. It's painstaking. It's the companies that we're dealing with. You know, when in your credit issues, we send out the letters that are we know what they're looking for and a time frame that they need to get back to us, and we hold them to those standards. And they sometimes, well, can you clarify this? No, we did everything needed to do. You need to get back to us within X amount of time, depending on which credit account it is. And we hold them to the same laws that, are created to help customers. We, it also makes them, do their job. And we hold them to that because, other people, if you're working, you have kids, you have a full day, we do this full time, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, we're working on credit. And people who sign up with us can access their account. We set up their own account on our webpage, and they can view our progress 24/7.
So they can review what you're doing.
Absolutely.
For them, 24/7.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's pretty good.
They create their own password. They create their own username. They're the only one who has access to it. And we keep them involved. We help educate them. We rebuild and we repair.
So I have a quick question for this little sidebar here. Now that the United States has a double A rating from Standard & Poor's for their credit regarding
Plus.
I forgot the plus part. Since we've been downgraded from a triple A rating
Right.
status here, what do you foresee, or what are your thoughts? What do you think is the United States, the banking in the United States, is that going to be a higher price to do banking in the United States, or
Everything I've heard, the so-called experts, and I'm certainly not one on the economy, but they're all telling me the rates are going up, which means buying a home, buying a car, and people have credit cards, and if you have a balance on your credit card, the interest rates go up. Well, that's going to hurt you, and they're going to lower your limits, so that may that's going to lower your credit scores as well. The credit, if you have a credit card, you sign the document that says, okay, you're going to run my credit now. Most credit card companies run your credit once a year. They do a soft inquiry to see.
they call it a soft
The
inquiry?
soft inquiry
Okay.
to see where is it still up to the standards we set, and we've changed those standards. So we may say, okay, now we want you to be at a 720 to have our credit limit at that. And if it's not, they can lower the limit and raise your interest rates at the same time. Well, you've never even missed a payment. And and your credit score is going to go down because the credit card company, they're looking at it and they want to change the way they do business because rates are going up and balances are going to be going down.
How about somebody who wants to rent a house or whatever? Do you see that a lot of landlords are calling for credit?
Well, the realtors I talk to, that they help people get in rentals as well, and the fact that now they'll have 3 people who are interested in the same rental home. Well, now they can, the landlord can pick and choose, so they're running the credit.
They are running it. So
They're
the
running
higher the
it.
FICO score, the most likely you're
Absolutely,
gonna.
absolutely.
Or they might be raising the rent.
Well, that could happen too.
I don't know if there's got to be laws in the United States, or it's definitely in Illinois, about raising rent because of your credit. I'm pretty sure it might be.
I would assume not. There's probably something that says you can.
Yeah,
rate
that'd be.
it to the
Yeah,
same.
I wouldn't. If I was a landlord, that would be very.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be a
you're
smart thing to
advertising
do,
a
yeah.
price of saying, here, you can rent this property for, call it, $1,200.
Right.
Um,
And then of course some smart person say, well, I have 4 kids, so of course my FICO score will be lower. Who knows? So I would, as a landlord, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, the higher the score, the most likely they are to make their payments.
The higher the score, the likelihood of them going 60 to 90 days late
Okay.
over the next couple of years is greatly reduced.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll give you a couple
Okay.
of averages.
All right.
The average credit score in Illinois is 698. The average credit score in the United States is 692. So we're hanging in there.
698, 692.
Yeah. But you know what? To get the best credit score on a home is 720.
So 720 now is the norm
Is
for
a
a conventional loan.
Correct. For a conventional 30-year mortgage, they're looking at a 720 as a medium credit score.
A median.
Yeah.
What does the
That-
720 give you?
That will give you the best rates available, depending on your debt-to-income ratio as well, and a couple other factors. How much money you're putting down and your loan-to-value. But if 720 is you get the best rate, and the average American's is 692, we're paying more money. People are paying more money to get the same benefits as anybody else in the world. So it's just not right. And there's just so much inaccurate, unverifiable information on your credit report, and you have a legal right to challenge that. And if it's inaccurate, if it's wrong, we can help you remove that.
If you're getting a house, it sounds like it's probably worth going through that process
Oh, one
to
credit.
boost your rate up another 30 40 points.
Sure, absolutely. Here, let me give you an example on a $250,000 mortgage or loan amount. 1% from 5 to 6%, okay, is just under $57,000 over the course of a loan.
Can you repeat that again?
Okay. On a $250,000 mortgage loan balance, the difference between 5% and 6%, so 1% difference, is just under $57,000 over the course of the loan.
So you could save over 30 years, $57,000.
Right. Or get charged that much more if you're not, doing the right things.
I don't know if you caught the previous show before ours. We were talking about the amount of money that the government is paying. Basically, let's borrow more money so we can pay off our old debt, so we can, take care of that interest that we just owed. We
Yeah.
owe $1 trillion in interest, so let's borrow $1 trillion to pay that interest. Now we got another $1 trillion we owe interest on.
And interest kills. I mean, come on.
Oh, that's definitely true. I mean, what we need to do is call Bill Mitchell with the Illinois Credit Services, Inc. at 708-408-9210 to get all your credit needs fixed.
We'll give you free
Repaired.
analysis.
You will give a free
We will give you
analysis.
free analysis, correct.
Wow, that's fantastic. What about now today? We were talking earlier about. Here's a good question that just popped in my head. What's the highest score you can get on your credit?
There's several different models, but the most common one is FICO, which we're
Yeah.
referring to. That's a Fair Isaac credit reporting.
Right.
300 is the lowest, 850 is the highest.
So 850 would be. Do you see a lot of 850s?
I've
out
seen
there?
an 820 once.
You saw an 820, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw about an 810 at one time,
Yeah.
and that was really incredible,
But
And-
because you're going to have some debt in life if you have credit,
Right.
if you're at some age where you've bought things in your life, and if having everything paid off is not going to give you an 850, because they want to see your history of payment. So I've never actually seen an 850. I'm told that it's out there, but the scoring models goes from 300 to 850. And I can give you an odds. Somebody who has between a 760 and a 800, the odds of them going delinquent are like just under 600 to 1. Where if you're a 500, the odds are 8 to 1 that you're going to be late on a
payment.
on a payment over the next couple of years.
Wow.
And then 2 to 3 months late on a payment.
Now, it's really interesting. I know one thing. Can you mention those credit companies again out there, the bureau?
We got TransUnion, which is
Right.
probably the most popular, Equifax, and Experian.
TransUnion, I know, is owned by the Mormon Group. The Mormon Group is owned by the Pritzkers out there. They're the backers of J.P. Morgan Chase. They're the backers of Mayor Daley. They're the backers of President Obama. The Pritzkers at one time that owns TransUnion, of course, they were, I believe, at the Hyatt hotels. There was a big
Sure.
hotel. So they started out, Grandpa, probably a great grandfather. They also had a bank that was in Hinsdale back in the late 80s, early 90s that went under. It actually went under. It was a subprime bank, basically, but this bank actually that the Pritzkers owned went under, and FDIC actually bailed them out, so taxpayers bailed them out. And it's so ironic all the time when I hear the Pritzkers, and who they back and what they do and whatever, and they're the ones that own TransUnion. They did help us pay for the bean downtown.
So what are you
That's for
saying?
sure.
Are you telling us that we have somebody in the White House that is destroying the country?
No. What I'm saying is that the relationships, and it's kind of ironic that people are really getting affected, with FICO scoring and all this stuff, and somebody like Bill Mitchell is very important to know. That's somebody you need to make a friend of because he help you with your finances immediately. I mean, if you could save $57,000 by saving 1% on your loan, okay, over 30 years, that's real money.
Just matter of fact, getting rid of the inaccuracies.
Yes.
Just to get your
And
credit
unverified,
score
sure.
up further.
Yeah.
Unverifiable
Unverifiable
information.
information, inaccurate
Whether it's
information. Yeah.
true or not, if it's unverifiable, it's time to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
And also, it just to have a friend like you, Bill, and get that business card. You got to keep this number, folks. 1-708-408-9210. You'll be able to reach Bill Mitchell, and he will be able to help you out with your credit. A lot of people have the college kids out there. They're gonna need. They definitely need help how to manage their credit.
Well, the worst thing you can do as far as your credit score and your credit is do nothing. I mean, even if you pay your bills on time, you need to look at that, and we can help you get the right mix, if nothing else. Okay? Because some people say, hey, listen, I pay all my bills on time, but my credit score is still not where I want it to be. Why is that? Well, again, because it's not just paying your bills on time that is how you calculate your credit score. Not how I calculate it, how it is calculated.
Yeah, how
And
it is
the right
calculated.
mix of credit. So the worst thing you can do is nothing. Take a look at your credit. If you have some issues with your credit and you want to discuss it, please give me a call and we'll happily, we'll go over it together.
Excellent.
That's what we do.
Well, I want to say thank you. Will you come back on the show?
Sure, absolutely.
Definitely, because I
Absolutely.
think we only probably got about a third of what we really wanted to ask.
Probably not even that.
Not even
Oh,
that.
I can go on for an hour and a half and tell you. I can give you examples and stories, and love coming back. Absolutely.
Well, I heard you had a great. It was at a seminar.
Yes.
And you want to give a plug at.
Well, at home ownership today, we have a seminar at the Westmont Public Library. Allowed us to come in there and give a free seminar.
And that's where I met you.
Yeah, and we just give out free advice to people, and it just helps them because they're just tired of. I own a mortgage company for 10 years, and now I do loan stuff. I'm a loan officer, and I just when people come in and they're like, Bill, I want to refinance my house, or I want to buy our first home.
Mhm.
What do I do? And how come I can't? And it just
it's
just
sad.
bothered me.
Yeah, how come I can't? That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, we can get into stories on that. I've been in the mortgage.
because
Well,
the
Jim
federal
Drosky is the president of
Yeah.
Illinois Credit Services, and I've known him for 20 years. And he put the company together a couple years ago, and I partnered with him, and it's just fantastic what he can do with his people. And he's got Lori, who does most of the processing there, and they're just unbelievable people.
Why don't you give out your info again?
You can contact me, Bill Mitchell, at I'll give you my direct line is 708-408-9210. If you'd like to email, it's B as in Bill Mitchell at IllinoisCreditServices.com, or the webpage is Illinois Credit Services. So,
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Oh, Jim, I appreciate it
Oh,
very
you're
much.
very welcome. I do want to mention one PSA. Habitat for Humanity Restore is now open in Addison. We had Jim on as a guest here on the show a few weeks ago, and so you could check them out anytime. Call them at 630-510-3737. And as Jim likes to say, go green. So Habitat for Humanity Restore is open, 869 South 53, Addison, Illinois. With that, I want everyone to have a great day. Okay, have a white you can day, week, and month. We'll be talking to you next week. This has been Jim Lisiaga and on the Yes You Can radio edition. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
take care. How did that go by?
Been real fast.
I thought we were going to break in the middle. I'm like, okay, so we're not even halfway
Take
done
one
yet.
picture of us.
No, we're
Just a
gonna
second.
send that to-
Oh, you were excellent. I kind of slipped up a couple of times.
Thanks for plugging me, Eli. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
did I do enough for you?
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, why don't we just go real quick right here?
Real quick.
Dave, that went in, Dave.
Yeah.
Right over here. And then get in there. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Ready.
Got it.
There we go.
Thank you, sir.
Card
850.
full, so it looks like you're all
I
full.
thought we were doing the public service announcement in the middle. So
We
I'm like,
were, but you know what? We decided to change it a little bit.
Excuse me.
Instead of, we're gonna let the tape like go from now on instead of,
Is that going to be breaking like
yeah.